Hi, welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's video on Star Wars The Force Awakens. So right now for me, it's 9 a.m. on Wednesday. What's the exact date? The 16th of December in New Zealand, where I'm at. And tonight at midnight, which is technically Thursday the 17th, I'm going to see Star Wars The Force Awakens in the cinema, so I'm going to the midnight showing. So I just wanted to give some of my thoughts on what I'm expecting out of this movie, and then in a couple days I'll give my full-on review of the film. So yeah, so you can sort of compare what I was expecting to what I actually thought. So I remember when I was a kid, like this is one of the few memories I have as a kid in the 80s after Return of the Jedi came out and I was watching the Star Wars on VHS, that I heard we're talking about the plan George Lucas had to do two more trilogies, to do a trilogy for the prequels for episode 1, 2, and 3, and then after that go back and do episode 7, 8, and 9 to make it like 3 trilogies. So it's like, and the one with just the original trilogy would be in the middle. So after, like, flash forward all the way to 2005, after I saw Revenge of the Sith, first thing I was thinking was, well, where's episode 7, 8, and 9? Like, some people weren't even thinking about that, didn't care, but I was just all hyped. I was like, let's move on. I wanna see because I actually, unlike a lot of people, I actually really liked Revenge of the Sith. I didn't care much for the other prequels, but I really liked Revenge of the Sith. But I wanted more. I really wanted episode 7, 8, and 9. So when I heard this announcement, of course I was excited, but I'm a bit skeptical as well because, well, as I say, the prequels weren't all that great. Although this time, like, there's a lot of positives because George Lucas isn't involved. So you think, well, because that's might have been the problem with the prequels, is that George Lucas was having his, no one could say no to him. And it wasn't a collaborative effort, and he was just throwing his weight around. And he kind of had this, and, you know, I'm just guessing here, but it seems like he just had this attitude of, well, Star Wars is mine, so I'll do whatever I want with it. Whereas now we have J.J. Abrams, he's more of the like of, well, this is Star Wars is something that I liked as a child growing up, and I don't think it's mine. It's something that I need to respect, and I need to stay true to the originals, more so than George Lucas would be, which is why I think it might be good. However, those who have watched my Star Trek videos and my videos on the Abrams Star Trek films will know I'm not a huge fan of those. I think of them as like cover bands. I think Abrams kind of ruined them. You know, but partly it's because he doesn't understand Star Trek. He was making them more like Star Wars movies, which makes me think that this one actually might be better because that's what he actually wanted to do. He wanted to make a Star Wars movie, not a Star Trek movie. But yeah, so yeah, so I don't know, but even so, like Abrams movies, like I like Super 8, that was a pretty good movie, but most of his movies are just okay. So what I'm saying is that's my expectations of The Force Awakens. That's going to be okay. That's going to be a good movie. It's going to be one of those movies like when I get out of the theater, like this is how I reacted to Star Trek 2009. I get out of the theater, I'm like, yes, that movie is awesome, great. There was a lot of fun, special effects, actions. But then the more you think about it, the more it starts to fall apart. The more you're like, you know what? The villain was actually two-dimensional. The plot actually kind of didn't make any sense, and there's a few things in there that were a bit weird that I didn't quite get. And then, you know, after a couple of years, like, okay, that movie was kind of not that good. So I am expecting it to be better than Star Trek 2009, which, as you know my channel, no, I don't like that movie at all. I liked Into Darkness a bit better. But So I'm expecting it to be better than that because, like as I say, Abrams is more suited to Star Wars and Star Trek, it seems. But I'm not expecting this to be the greatest thing ever. I'm expecting. I don't know what I'm sure the fan reaction is going to be love it because that's what people still love Star Trek 2009 to this day, which I'm not sure why because it's not that good of a movie. So I think, and especially with all the hype around it, like because we were talking about like the Phantom Menace, and the initial reaction to that, everyone loved it. It wasn't until like years later people started to realize that it sucked. For me personally, like when I saw it the first time, Phantom Menace in the theater, I was like, "Wow, it's awesome! I want to see it again." So I saw it again, and I saw it the second time in the theater, and that's when I started to realize, you know what, this movie's not good. It actually kind of sucks. But with The Force Awakens, I think it's going to be more like, I don't think it's going to suck. I don't think it's going to be like the prequels. I don't think you're going to have a lot of people saying that it sucks. But it might be like more like a Star Trek thing where people are blown away by it and saying it's awesome. But then over time, people are going to start to realize that it's just okay. That's my expectations. I could be wrong. I hope I'm proven wrong. Anyway, so in a couple of days, this Saturday or my Saturday evening, which is like Saturday morning, late Friday night for some people around the world, I'll do my full-on review of The Force Awakens. It's going to be spoilers. I'm not going to bother with a spoiler-free review because everyone's going to see this movie. So if you're not going to see it, I don't have time for you. I'm going to do a full-on spoilers review of The Force Awakens Saturday evening, my Saturday evening, which won't just be me talking from the camera right now. I'll do a full-on like regular video like I normally do. And we'll see how that compares to my expectations. Okay, and that's it for me, and thanks a lot for watching.